Hello, everybody, and welcome to our impromptu Zoom this evening. My name is Harlequin Murray, and we also have on here Ellen Wynn. We are your co-hosts this evening. And for those of you who were not on today's Zoom, you need to go back and watch it. The one from 11:30 Eastern today, with the launch of the new flat rate pharmacy program. But anyways, we just wanted to kind of talk to everybody and just kind of get a feel for where you are. And also, we're going to probably add something to our challenge. Do 50 and 50 with the healthcare or with the pharmacy as well. But and I see Miss Ellen is still on mute. So like I said, this was really impromptu. Did anybody have any questions that they could think of from today's presentation that they wanted to go over? Cheryl, I see you raising your hand, but you're on mute. Can you here? Let's see. There you go.
I mean, this is so mind-blowing. So exciting. But somehow I missed the part that pet meds are included. Is pet meds, is that right?
It's what?
Meds.
Yeah, there's a list. If you go into there, you can go and print out. I printed out the list. There's 805 medications that they have included in it. They're all generics, but yeah, it's about 90% of the everyday medications that are prescribed in the United States.
But for animals too.
I'm sorry?
It's for animals too, is my understanding.
Yeah, yes. Well, it's not, that's not the primary purpose of it, but a lot of pets are able to, the medications that are prescribed are the same as the human variety.
Yeah, I mean, that was just huge because let's face it, everybody spends more money on their animals than anything else. And I just learned that. I missed that. So
yes,
just awesome. All of it.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yes, absolutely. And Mark, I see that you've unmuted yourself. Did you have a comment?
I was unable to see the video. I'll be able to watch it later, but did you guys discuss how it applies to the comp plan, how much commission we get if we get people signed up to?
Yeah, if you sell, it doesn't matter if you sell an individual or a monthly plan, it's $10 towards the residual, and then you get 20 to 50% of that. So basically you earn anywhere from $2 to $5 per plan that you market on the monthly one. And on the annual plan, it's 110 points towards the residual. And that will get posted the next, I believe it's the next business day, towards the end of the day. And you will get paid on that on the 15th of the following month.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Miss Ellen, did you have a comment or did you want to talk? I know you've got some stuff that you were wanting to talk about in particular. You're muted, or do you need to wait a couple minutes? You're muted, Ellen.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I said, I missed your intro. I walked out of the room when you first started. Yeah, glad to see everybody here tonight. Wow, this is a great turnout. Thanks for taking some time out on a Friday evening. You know that you love DAC if you're here at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. and this is the best place to be. Yeah, so you guys, if you heard on the tail end of the Zoom today where I shared what I was doing, sending out some text messages, I had carried on some great conversations after I got home, after we got off of the Zoom. And I've had some great phone conversations, just calling people, kind of testing the waters about the agent opportunity. So you got to start talking and you got to start sending some messages. In fact, I'm going to challenge you guys right now while we're on here tonight to send at least 5 messages. It's early enough in the day that no matter what time zone you're in, you can send 5 messages out to somebody in your phone and send the same message that I sent out. Let me see. I don't see what I have here.
I wrote it down if you want me to.
I said, if it was a couple or a family, I called them by name and I said, like my sister-in-law, I said, hey, Debbie, what are you and Richard doing? Or no, I'm on healthcare there. Are you?
I have
and
it written
Richard-
down if it helps, Ellen.
Yeah. Are you and Richard spending more than $30 a month out of pocket on prescriptions? Question mark. That was the question. If it's a single person, hey, are you spending more than $20 a month on prescriptions? Question mark. Right? Just ask that question. And every single person that I sent a text to has responded either yes, no, or they got the conversation started. If they said no, I said, hey, that's great for you. If you happen to know anybody that is spending more than this on prescriptions, please let me know. I have a solution to help them save money. And that's the end of that, right? So it's just a conversation starter, but you guys have got to start reaching out, and people are going to thank you for reaching out. And especially once you get somebody signed up and started, and they're saving some massive money because of what we have to offer. So 5 before we finish up tonight. Let's see. I use a continuous glucose monitor, but it is not on the list. I sent the question to DAC support. Okay, and we'll figure these out as we go. You know, they said today, if you're on any other prescription meds, I would sign up as a member and then work through that process with them as a member, because we're going to have a lot of questions that come in on specifics. And as Avery said today, you want to get started, sign up on the membership, and then they can give you specific pricing and processes as you are a member. Also, as an agent, if you're a member, if you have good use for it, if you're a member and you have clients that have a specific question, then you can get that question as a member answered for your client if you want to go that route. You look like you have something there, Harlequin.
Well, I was going to make a comment about that. They said that they have the lowest contracted price out there for any of the medications that are not on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlene said, I think it's Carlene Penn. Is that correct? She says she already has a client signed up.
Yay!
So
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Harley Quinn,
Yeah,
I have another question.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Ellen as well. Does the company that's providing these prescriptions for us, so to speak, have an average or case studies in terms of the average overall yearly savings by subscribing for $30 compared to what they typically would pay? Because depending upon how old they are, their meds could be gigantically expensive.
Well, my response to that would be based on what he said today, where pharmacies are marking things up, and they vary from pharmacy to pharmacy. I'm sure it would be hard to get an average based on what people are actually paying, but no, he didn't. All we know is what he covered today on that, and he did not address that, Mark.
Okay,
So,
I just didn't know if there was a metric they had. That's okay, but thank you.
yeah, no worries.
Well, it also depends upon if they have insurance or not. You know, whether or not how much they're saving. So.
Yeah. If y'all didn't notice, I just posted this maybe 5 minutes before we went live, but they clipped the video from Avery describing the company and the little short overview. And I posted that in our 50 and 50 Facebook group. It's on the DAC Agents Vimeo channel. It's like 18 minutes long, if that. So if you need to refresh on how he said things work, then that's in the Facebook group for you. Wow, this is exciting. So what I want to cover, I guess, is conversation that Harlequin and I had earlier. I mean, I got off of that call and I'm like, I am not going to sleep. I've had 5 hours sleep night before last. I slept 4 hours last night, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight or not because I'm so excited about the possibilities of this. But a couple of things I was talking about, I was just throwing out ideas in our conversation there, Harlequin, and you may have to bring me back around on some of the things that I mentioned. But I know I was in my, I took a friend to the eye doctor this afternoon. I was actually in the eye doctor's office when we were on the Zoom when I made those last comments. And I was looking around the waiting room. There was a group of people in there that I'm going, man, I need a card, because there were couples in there. And I would have just walked up to people and said, hey, can I ask you a question? Or do you mind me asking you a question? Do you guys happen to spend more than $30 a month on prescription medication out of pocket? I would have asked that, and I would have handed my card out to people in the waiting room there, right? Just because I'm so excited and have such deep belief in what we have in our hands. Other places of thinking about how to get this word out as we see progression with marketing materials. One, Wade talked about this, and I know I've already talked about it with my doctor, is being able to go and have a QR code set up in a little flyer there in the doctor's office and actually talk to the staff. My personal doctor came on to DAC Healthcare already. They're on the Clearwater ClearShare, and I just saw them pop in tonight. They went active on October the 1st. And right before we got on, I saw all these emails coming in. You have a new customer. You have a new customer. You have a new customer. And I started looking through those, and I'm going, that name looks familiar. And then I realized I saw the doctor's name, and I'm going, oh, okay, that's my group coming in. So this is the first time I've seen them in the back office. But those guys in that doctor's office, they're already talking to me about the plan. I'm checking in on them, and all I've got to do is talk to all of them and say, hey, we've got a great prescription program, and they'll be marketing that for us. Plus, get this. This was one of the things I told Harlequin. Specifically, they asked about Ozempic and I forget the name, Wegu or something. There are 3 different drugs that he specifically talked about today. And when my doctor's group was onboarding, they asked for the prescription formulary because they had people specifically asking about Ozempic and one of those other drugs that Avery mentioned today, because a lot of people are using those for weight loss rather than for diabetes. In fact, my doctor's office has a med spa side to their office, and they do weight loss treatments and so on. So that's probably one of the drugs that they are prescribing. So think of this. If you know of doctors' clinics around you that are prescribing that type of medication for weight loss, and they can get a huge discount going through our program, it won't be the free, but it'll be the deeply discounted. Boy, you've got them hook, line, and sinker to be able to promote this for you by sharing that, because the doctors want to be able to have success for their patients, but the patients run into the roadblock of not being able to afford the medication. So think of that, and then where you can strategically position yourself in your local community to have your information out there, share it in public visibility, whether it be in a veterinarian's office, a dental office, a chiropractor's office, medical office. Today, I had a great conversation with a good friend of mine who is a insurance broker, and he does not do health insurance. So I've been wanting to reach out to him and have a conversation about our healthcare program in general, but I'm like, something kept telling me to just wait before you do that. I didn't want to jump the gun and bring him on board too soon before we had everything in place. But after our launch today, I'm like, I've got to make this call. So I talked to him, and I said, how's insurance going? And he said, well, it kind of sucks right now. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He said, man, we're struggling. And most brokers that I know in this space right now, where they're doing homeowners, they're doing property and casualty, automobile, they're really having some difficult times. People are struggling on what bills to pay and putting food on their table. So, if they can get by without something, they think they can scrimp by on it, they're going to. So I listened to him for a couple of minutes, and I started laughing, and I said, well, what if I could show you a way to make some real money in insurance right now. And he goes, okay, I'm all ears. So I led into the conversation with that. And I just told him, I said, well, hey, we launched a new program today and I'm super excited about it. There's a tremendous need in the community for what we have to offer. Here's how it works. It's a monthly membership flat fee prescription program where people can get unlimited free prescriptions. And if they're spending more than $20 a month as an individual, this plan is going to help them save money. Went through just the basics of how it works, right? As if I was talking to a client. And he goes, that sounds pretty interesting. And I said, do you know anybody that's taking medications? And he started naming family members and he started naming friends and one of his employees. And, you know, because people have those conversations with their friends, right? They talk about the cost of prescriptions or they talk about what medication their doctor prescribed. So people know in their own social network of who's taking meds. So immediately he started thinking of different people. And in that insurance conversation, he said, so, and I also told him about the residual side of that. We're going to talk about that tonight. Okay. We're going to go through some numbers on that. But as we were talking about it, he said, so I've got a email list of all of these different insurance brokers that I've made relationships with over the years, plus all of my clients that I've ever sold insurance to. I've got their database too. Now he doesn't market healthcare at all. And I said, are you getting calls every week? People asking if you sell healthcare? And he said, oh yeah, we had 2 today. And I said, well, how would you like to monetize that instead of turning them away or referring them out to somebody else where you're not getting paid on? And he's like, okay, how would that work? So I said, it's just a simple referral. You refer people over and our expert team takes the ball and runs with it from there. And he said, I could do that. He said, I'm busy, but if I can just connect them, if I can send out information to my database in an email and it's instructional where they know where to go and what to do, and then somebody else is going to talk to them. He said, I can do that all day long. So he's pretty excited. We didn't go through the whole program. He had plans this evening and we're going to catch up on Monday, but just letting you guys know, hearing from me, what I'm doing and some of the conversations that I'm having and where I'm thinking on the bigger picture of what we have in front of us. So David was talking about recruiting. I'm not recruiting little onesies and twosies. I'm talking to some friends that I know that are great team builders, right? Whether it is team building as a network marketer in their past, or whether it's a team builder, someone that has a coaching mentality, whether it's softball, football coaches, they love building things and bringing people together, right? So be thinking about who you know that would be intrigued with this model. So on the compensation piece, I know Harlequin was talking about that just a few minutes ago. The 20% to 50%. I've been showing you guys that on our weekly Zooms, but let me pull up a slide here and I'm going to have to dig for this, Harlequin. So I see you working on something. If you've got something you want to share while I'm looking for this slide, that'd be great.
Mine is similar to yours anyway.
Okay.
So go
Well,
ahead.
if you've got something already ready, go ahead.
Well, it's not something that I can show because so you go ahead and find yours.
All right. I know right where it is because I had it up earlier.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just playing with it and I didn't get a chance to finish it up. And I've had a question in the chat. For those of you who have not signed up for our 50 and 50 challenge Facebook group, it is DAC 50 in 50, or I will go ahead and I'll put the link in here. So you can just tap on it in the chat and it will open up for you.
Let me go in here. I'm going to do share screen and show you where to see this. David touched on this today, but I'm very visual on things. I can hear it and I can see it, but when I see it and hear it, I learn better. That's my learning style. So I'll show you that. All right, so I'm in the Agent Resource Center, which those of you that may not be familiar with how to get there, you just simply log into the back office through the footer of David Allen Capital or your DAC healthcare page and click on Agent Login. Once you get logged in, on the left-hand side of the menu is a link to the Agent Resource Center. Once you click on Agent Resource Center, it opens up on the Getting Started tab, okay? We're over here on the Compensation Plan tab, and I'm going to click this little box, which makes the window expand so we can see the document full screen. And I want to go to the pages that David updated. He updated 3 pages of the compensation plan, pages 14, 15, and 16. So now we've got that document up. I'll go fast forward to page 14. Okay, page 14, he edited this to make it read a little bit easier, where he broke out the funding, got rid of the products that we're not marketing anymore, the line
Ellen,
of
can you
credit.
make it a little bit larger?
I'm sorry?
Can you make it a little bit larger?
Yeah, I can make it a whole lot larger.
Thank
How's
you.
that?
Yeah.
So this is page 14. Got rid of funding products that are no longer on our website. And just for your information, I'm getting questions about why are we not doing equipment financing or asset back. Honestly, David said that on the equipment financing, banks had better rates than we did. So we really just couldn't compete there. And when we found people that didn't qualify at the bank, we were having to go towards the revenue-based capital anyway. So our revenue-based funding is going to be the best option for somebody if they need to purchase equipment. Asset-backed lending, out of all the submissions that we had, we only had one that actually went through, and that was one that Harlequin did with a client before we even launched the program live. There was a lot of misunderstanding in the field from agents that weren't necessarily plugging into training, and they were sending the wrong clients through to the asset-backed funding. So we pulled that program, keeping it simple, and our whole model right now is simplify to multiply. So getting back to the basics of our basic funding program, where the 3 funding tabs that you have on your website all lead to the exact same application in the Bank Breezy funding cycle funnel, and that keeps it simple. Then you've got your employee retention tax credit and Relevate there. The business services with residual revenue, he's added the clear share for groups to business services page, showing that you get 40 residual revenue points for per employee in a group setting. And then the page that's really been updated is the page 16 here for healthcare services, the QV, residual revenue, and personal commission. Excuse me. So all clear share plans, individual, family, etc. Remember, we've got it listed in the group so that you see that there is group volume with that. And then we have the individual plans. Again, it's 40 qualifying volume and 40 residual revenue points. Same thing with the RX is 10 and 10 or 110 and 110. And that's whether it is the individual or family plans. But those were updated in there so you can see. But the page that I want to go to, I think I may need to go back. I do. The page I want to go to is the one that David talked about today, but I want to give you the visual on it. And I've actually got a slide up on that. Let me do this real quick, because it'll be the same slide in my slide deck as it is on this actual screen. I'll pause here for a minute, get the right slide up. Here we go. Okay, so page 7 of that compensation plan document is the residual commission overview. And this is where David was talking about your personal residual revenue impacts, whether you're going to make 20 or 50%. So notice it starts out, if you have 0 to 399 personal residual revenue here on this top line, it's going to pay you 20. I've got it blown up on the next slide here. 0 to 399. These first two columns, you're making 20% personal residual revenue. Once you hit 400 personal residual revenue points, then you add an extra 5% bonus. So then you're at 25% on your personal clients. Okay. And as you continue moving up, you earn more. As he said today, you get to 600, you make an extra 10%. So then you're making 30% of whatever the residual revenue is. That's your bonus increase. And then that you add your bonus increase to the personal commission, and that's what gets you to the higher percentages. So look at these numbers. When you're below 400, you're making 20% because there is no bonus number here. But when you get to 400, now you're earning an extra 5%. When you get to 600, you're earning an extra 10% bonus. 800 personal residual revenue, you're earning an extra 15%. And when you get to 1,000, you're earning an extra 20% and earning a 40% match. So if the residual revenue on the RX plan is $10 and you're less than 400 points, then you're making $2 out of that $10, right? 20% of 10 is $2. But as you start climbing on up, you're going to be making the higher amounts on all of the clients that you've already signed up. So when you get up to the 35% and making $3.50 off of each one, it goes back and pays you the higher amount on that first plan that you sold, that first membership that you sold. So it always goes back to, it looks at all of your current clients and it pays you at whatever level you're qualified for the month that you're getting paid. So if you're qualified at 40%, you would make $4 on each of those members. If you lost some members and you dropped qualification and went back down to 35% because you lost members and you didn't bring more members on to stay at that higher level, then you would make $3.50 the next month. So that's how that works on there. I did this training on healthcare showing the numbers off of 40% residual revenue. But you want to get to 200 as quickly as you can. 200 points is 20 customers here. You can go get those by yourself, or you can go find some strategic partners that are going to promote this program for you, like the doctor's office or the dental office, right? Or a hair salon. I met with my hairstylist a week ago. We talked about the DAC opportunity. I told her that this was coming and I have a hair appointment on Monday. So I'm going to sit in her chair, and guess what? We're talking about the RX program on Monday, and I'm planning on getting her signed up as an agent and going ahead and getting her marketing materials there so that she can start promoting it from her salon immediately, whether it's just a QR code and people can go to it, and then she'll learn about it in process and can watch those videos, right? Because it's really super simple. All right. So
Ellen,
that's what I wanted to show you on that.
Interrupt for a second.
Plan. Excuse me?
I just want to interrupt for one quick second, only because, you were talking about if somebody gets to 1,000 and then they lose some clients and they drop down.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the reasons why it's absolutely critical that last week of the month that you check your volume and see where you are, because you don't want to go and miss getting an additional amount of money because you were 5 points short.
Exactly. And we'll start reminding you as we're getting close to the end of the month, we'll start reminding you if you're plugged in and paying close attention to what's going on in your business. So how a client can sign up. Okay, so your agent ID number, right? You want to go over to dachealthcare.com. And I'll show you a couple of things. Let's do that screen share again.
Yeah, because they did not show that process today. So
we can do that
for people to see.
All right, I'm going to show you two ways. Okay. So if you're familiar with your David Allen Capital page already, then let's start there. Okay. I've got my David Allen Capital page up. Notice they have added a tab for healthcare division here. If you click on healthcare division, it goes straight over to dachhealthcare.com. So I love it that we used to use that domain, and we quit using that when we left our partnership with Longevity, our previous marketing partnership. But now that we have it back, that separates our financial services on the David Allen Capital page and brings it over to DAC Healthcare. So it has its own domain, and I really like the feel of that. Okay. So once you're at dachhealthcare.com, this is the homepage. You have your individual health share plans, your employer plans, and now our FlatFee Rx. They're all accessible from the front page, or they're accessible from the top menu here. Or you can either hit the little menu icon in the top right and you can select them there. And that would be most likely how you would select them if you're on a mobile device. But for somebody to order, you're going to click on the page that says FlatFee Rx, and notice it adds a /RX to the end of the link. You want to, after that /, you want to add your agent ID number or your username. Now do my username. And then you want to copy that, making sure that your information is at the end of that link. You want to copy it and you want to send that out to someone where they can go in and sign up through that link. Okay. But the way they're going to sign up is they click on the I want free prescriptions, and it takes them over to an order form. It already has your information embedded in that. Notice the agent code is in the link there. They're going to choose whether they want a family plan or a single plan, or whether they want an annual family plan or an annual single. That's going to be what their checkout is, their shopping cart is what they're going to pay for when they get checked out. And then they're going to fill in their name, their street address, town, city, state, zip code, phone number, and their email address. Also, if there are any additional notes that they need to make the pharmacy aware of, they can type that in. If there's a question like the glucose question that we had earlier, that question could be typed in there in that note section. If you want, you can drag the note section down to the bottom right corner and have much larger space to be writing. The agent code, that's my agent code already embedded there. The primary member date of birth, they'll select that from a calendar. Primary member's gender, male or female. And do you have a spouse? And if so, entering your spouse's information. And then it says, do you have dependents? Add dependents. So this is where you'll go through and add children on there, because notice I have the family plan auto selected at the top. Okay, so they'll go through, fill that information out. It shows what the price is here, and it'll be click and pay with credit card. They'll continue to payment and process it, and that's it. Then the next day at, did he say 4 or 4:30? They'll receive an email.
Yeah, he said it starts around 4:30 is when they send out the email to the new customers.
Right. And these guys are in Ohio, so they operate on Eastern time, just like our Michigan-based David Allen Capital office and our South Carolina-based funding office. So everything that we do, David Allen Capital wise, is Eastern time. Our healthcare partners are in Central time, but we really talk about calendar times on Eastern. So click submit. It continues. The next day, they will get an email that gives them instructions on how to use that. And they'll also get their digital card. So the very next day after they sign up, they will have their benefits card, so they could actually go in and use it there at the pharmacy if they had an acute medication that they needed to purchase, or if they were purchasing insulin, because insulin, if it's a tablet or pill, it's going to be shipped to them in the mail. Or if it is the liquid insulin, then they have a partnership with Walmart, and our pricing is cheaper than the Walmart pricing. So it's the cheapest pricing in the nation. So again, we've got a phenomenal product here. If you haven't already, you want to go in, I'm going to hit the back arrow there to go back to the main page. You want to take some time and play around with your website. Just get familiar with it. That way, when you're sending your link out to someone and they ask you a question, you can kind of help them navigate the website. These videos are great informational tools. All right, so you want to watch those. The full drug list, this is going to give you a PDF document of their formulary, which is a list of all the drugs that they have. But the easy way to find drugs is to go up here to the top. Then we've got different pages there, information, how it works, subscribe to date. Again, that's a sign up. The drug search tool here is where you can search online by typing in a drug name, or you can just go to the therapeutic section. And if you're wanting to know what medications are covered for free that are ADHD drugs, quick ADHD, and all of the drugs in that particular therapeutic class are going to show up. If they're looking for, I know they specifically mentioned Viagra today. So let's go to Men's Health. Where is it? There it is. Pops up. And these are the drugs: Cialis, Flomax, Viagra, all of those drugs. And I hear these advertised on the radio all the time. And there's zero cost to the client if they have this membership. Contraceptives are covered, cough and cold, diabetes, diuretics, all of these different categories you can go in, or you can search a drug by name. But if you know what category it's being prescribed for, then you can go in under that. Let's see. Anti-anxiety. I know he said that that's one of the largest categories is psychology, psychohealth, and they're going to have a lot of drugs there in that category. Okay, so that's how you do the drug search. But go in and play with your website. But in between playing with your website, you need to be sending out communication and asking people a question. Not
Ellen,
everybody is going to say, hey, yeah, I spend $50 a month, sign me up. That's not always going to be the way it is. But if you have enough of those conversations, you're going to have people start signing up pretty quickly. Go ahead, Harlequin.
Ellen, can you show them also how to pull up the PDF of the formulary? Because for some people, that's a little bit easier to do a search on, because some drugs are in, the names of the categories are all over the place. Like for weight loss, for Ozempic, for example, they wouldn't know to pull up the diabetes medications. Right.
Yeah, let me go back over to it. I had closed out that screen when I got out of screen share. Okay, I'm back. And back to Zoom. Share screen. Okay, so here is the complete list, view full drug list. And when you click on that, it's going to open up a PDF document. And I'll show you the easy way to search that. Uh-oh, there it is. Download our formulary. That's the PDF.
Yep.
Takes a minute to open. And here you have 5 pages. He said we have 805 drugs, I believe, that are listed here that are covered zero cost to the individual. I always go in, if you click on the page and then you do Control F, it'll pull down a find window. So if you're looking for a drug by name, then you can click that name. I'm going to do omeprazole. And as I start typing, it's going to show that there are 7 of them. I can hit the arrow, down arrow, and you can see, let me blow that up. You can see that it's pulling up the words that have those letters in it. Omeprazole, gastro, several of them there. But there's 7 listings for that particular drug. Okay. So that's how you can do the searches there. And you're going to see multiples of the same drug typically because of the different dosage levels. Like here's one that is a 50. Some of them you'll see 50 milligrams regular and then 50 milligrams extended release, that type of thing. So different dosages on those. All right. Anything else you want me to show while we have the screen share up, Harlequin?
Now that it went away, you mean?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. If you want, go ahead and scroll down to the last page for the over-the-counter stuff,
Okay.
because that, I would take a look at that. There's all, ibuprofen, there's Benadryl, Mucinex, and then different types of vitamins. So, for somebody who's on it, that's using those, that's a great opportunity to save some money on some day-to-day type things. But
Yeah.
the
Just
one
for example, real quick, Harlequin, I was in Kroger earlier and I was looking for vitamins actually. And 500 milligram vitamin C, if I went with the Kroger brand, it was like $14.99 for 100 vitamins. If I went with Nature Made or some of the brands, it was like $19.99 for 100. So that's a great deal.
Yeah. And I will point out on the over-the-counter, if you look in the bottom right, there's a minimum of $25 to order it with free shipping. Or if you add it to one of your other medications that you have being shipped to you, then it would be shipped for free. So just let your clients know that whenever they're in there. And I see Janet has her hand raised.
All right, let me get off of screen share here.
No, wait.
You want to go back?
Well, let me ask my question first, Neil, see if you need. I thought they said if somebody asks you if they cover that drug and if it's not in that list, it's just not there. But I thought you said earlier that you could like email them or something and ask about it.
No.
Yeah, where the glucose. Yeah, you don't want to bombard them with questions. He said, really, you need to be a member, and because they can't give a quote unless it's a member that they're talking to. So that's what I suggest you as an agent. If you've got a need for this, sign up for the membership, and then you've got full access to it. In fact, I don't need it because I only take one prescription, and my prescription is covered at zero copay because I have the Clearwater Health Share plan. But I may end up signing up for this just so I have the inside working knowledge. And when I talk to a client, if there's a specific drug, I can call and get a question answered. So that may be worth it to do that.
But my question is,
Janet,
like
I think I know what you're wanting to know. They said if it's not listed on there, then a lot of times, once the customer is signed up, they can go and contact the company and they will go and work with the person, because sometimes they might be able to get them signed up for a plan to get it at a lower cost. But if not, they always have a contracted price that's going to be the lowest price that you can get.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I put a post on Facebook and somebody sent me a message and said, hey, my dad needs this drug that's like really, really expensive. So I looked it up, it wasn't there, and so I can go back to her and say, or should I just sign up for the program and then go to them and say,
yeah, and then they'll work with her. And the plan that Harlequin was referencing is where they have patient assistance, that they will go to bat for the client to see if they can get them with patient assistance pricing, where sometimes it's free or deeply discounted.
so I can sign up and get that information, or they have to sign up and.
Well, if you need the plan, then you could sign up, and yes, you could call them as a member and ask about a particular drug, right? You can ask them how the pricing works on it.
Yeah, well, I take longevity products, so I don't need it myself, but I will sign up if I can use it to answer questions so people know if they should sign up or not.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay.
Awesome. Anybody else with questions? How are we doing on texting? Anybody have some communication that you've made today? Somebody that you reached out to, that you got questions back and forth. Anybody got a success story that you want to share or a struggle that you ran across? I see Cherry has a hand up. Let's ask her to unmute.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, I have a couple of questions. Did you say that the membership card is mailed the next day?
Email.
Emailed,
Mhm.
it's emailed, so you can use that as a temporary card or
Yeah, it's going to
until
be
you get,
digital anyway. Yeah.
oh, it's going
So
to be
yeah,
digital.
they get that emailed and
Mhm.
it's like 4:30 the next day is when they typically go out. So I guess they kind of do a batch load after end of day, kind of like credit card processing for what it sounds like, where they send it at a certain time every day, just like you would close out your batches on a credit card.
Okay. Another question regarding seniors. Someone who doesn't have a computer, doesn't know how to use a computer. Do they just call the customer service?
They can actually call, and the customer support team
Mhm.
at the pharmacy will actually sign the client up on the phone for them. So
And
they
how
can do
would how would they get your information, your ID number? Are you on the call with them, or do
Yeah,
you?
if it were
Okay,
my
good.
client, I would get on the phone, or I would have my laptop there and I would walk through and sign the client up myself, because you could do that, right? But if you need them to call, then I would probably do a 3-way call with them, have them on the
Okay.
phone, and you dial the pharmacy and just be there kind of facilitating the call with them. And then you can
Mhm.
make sure that they get you connected as a DAC agent and your agent ID number.
Okay. And there's one other question. Now, if someone, some people are picky, they want to go to their local pharmacy to get it. Do they have to have shipping, or can they
They
go
do.
to the local farm?
Yeah,
They have to
for
have
all these free drugs, they have to do the mail order
the mail
shipping.
order. Okay.
Yeah.
And when do
Yeah.
they pick up at the pharmacy? He said something, they can pick up at the pharmacy and pay nothing.
Yeah,
When,
so
Mhm.
that they're chronic meds, which is the ongoing month-to-month medication. The chronic meds are what are the free through mail order. If
Mhm.
it's an acute situation where
That's
they're
right.
needing an antibiotic or something like that, where it's been a diagnosis to cure an acute diagnosis, then that's where they can go in immediately after receiving the prescription to get it filled and get it
Okay,
for
and
free.
they get it for free. Okay, thank you very
Mhm.
much. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anybody else? Success stories? How many of you have hit 5 text messages while we've been on here and sent messages out to someone? Don't be afraid. You're not selling them. All you're doing is asking a question. But I will say this, and Harlequin and I talked about that, with DAC, we've always been saying, hey, we're not selling anything. We're just introducing ourselves. And that's when it comes to funding, because funding and our financial services is just introducing ourselves and making people aware of what we do. But in this, it's more transactional. When you find someone who has a need for what we have, then you need to sell them on the benefits of what we have to offer, right? So we've got to do a little mind shift there in that process. Jake did a great job with his training, and I believe we're going to hear more of that with his sales training and things that he learned when he first got into the industry. You want to dig into that. But really, in sales, all you're doing is getting someone to pay attention to what you have. We've all been in sales and are all really good at it, especially if we're in a relationship, because you had to sell yourself to the person that you have as your mate, right? Somewhere along the line, you sold yourself to them. And that's really what we're doing here when it comes to being able to get someone to believe in the benefits that we have to offer, and then have them go do the research on the website and take a look around. All right. Janet, do you have your hand up again, or is it still up from the first time?
I do. I just wanted to
Okay.
say that when I posted on Facebook, I put a little blurb in there that your family includes your 4-legged family members, and put in emojis of cat, dog, horse. I started being a pet sitter at 14 years ago. And I am just shocked at how many cats I had to give diabetic shots to, especially cats, some dogs. But yeah, animals are on that stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great benefit. Thanks for bringing that up and for asking that question earlier today, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody in comments, questions there, Harlequin, that you're seeing that we need to address?
No, I don't.
I see some direct messages to me.
Yeah, I will say, however, one of the things that I was going to bring up, you want to help get your team involved in this as well, because
If you have a team, not everybody does.
right. Well, if you don't have a team, you might be encouraged to go ahead and get one, because for everyone, as long as you have 200 points or you're in your first 60 or 90 days, forgive me, I can't remember. For everybody that is on your front line that that sells a plan, it's 90 cents that you earn. And for your downline below them, it's 50 cents. And then once you get up to the 2000 level, 2000 points, which with our 50 and 50 in the healthcare, that will get you to that. You earn $2.62 on your front line and $1.37 on your downline. So that can add up really quickly, folks, if you've got some team members that are active. So
that reminds me, Harlequin, that reminds me of something that I really wanted to make a big point on. And that is when we talk about the numbers on healthcare, that you can make up to $20 on our health share plans, and you can make up to $5 on the prescriptions. If you guys are thinking of this and going, well, that's not a lot of money, that's very small-minded. It's small thinking, okay? Because I tell you what, I was sharing this story about talking to a friend of mine who is an insurance broker. He's built some massive teams in network marketing in the past. And when I told him how much he could earn and how much his overrides were, I couldn't see him through the phone, but I could hear it in his voice. His eyes were getting really big, because when you've got anything that are in dollar amounts, even if it's $1, when you're looking at that amount of overrides on teams of hundreds or thousands of tens of thousands of agents, you're looking at some massive income potential. When I first got started in this industry, there was a telecommunications company called XL Telecom, and they were a long distance company. And one of the big stories that I kept hearing over and over again was how many millionaires were made in XL. Do you know how those millionaires were created? They were created by earning a 25-cent commission on long distance sales in their team. That was it. They only made a 25-cent override, but there were several people that made over $1 million a year with Excel. So multiply that by 4, by 6, by 8, or even more when we're talking about the override numbers that you can make here by team building. And the numbers are just astronomical with the potential that we have here. So what Harlequin said, if you don't have a team, you might want to get one, and it's really just going to naturally grow. I know there's some friends of mine on Facebook that I know they've done network marketing in the past, and I'm going to reach out to them specifically. They're a little bit older now, and I'm going to reach out specifically to ask them about the drugs, right? Are you guys spending more than $30 a month out of pocket on your prescription medications? And if they say yes, when I show them what we have to offer, I bet you several of them will ask me, hey, how does this work? Can I do what you're doing? They'll be asking on their own without me even saying, hey, and you want me to show you how you can make money doing this? So it can go 2 or 3 different ways. Before we wrap up, I'll tell you my quick story of how I got involved in the company where I met Harlequin. and it was a telecom company. I was done. I was not interested in network marketing anymore. Several of us had been with a company and it just didn't go the way we wanted to. The company got shut down after about a year. We had a lot of fun, made a lot of people, made a lot of new friends. But when some of those folks went on to another company and tried to recruit me, I didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't want anything to do with network marketing again. So they kept calling multiple times, maybe 4 times, asking me if I was interested in being their business partner, really would love to be working with me again. And I'm going, I'm not interested. So the 4th time they called, this was Skip Lewis, Harlequin. Skip called me up and he said, "Hey, baby doll, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good, Skip. How are you, my friend?" He's like, "I'm good." And I'm expecting him to do the recruiting line again. And he said, "Hey, I know you're not interested in being in business with us at all. And I get that. But if we could save you money on your phone bill, would you be interested in being our customer?" And I said, "Okay, how's that going to work?" And he said, "Well, what are you paying Bell South right now?" And that's how long ago this was, because Bell South's no longer in existence, right? So I said, "Well, just funny you mention it. I just had my phone bill yesterday and it was over $100 because I paid for long distance, right? There weren't really good long distance plans back then." And he said, "Wow." He said, "What if I could take that phone bill down to $25 a month?" And I'm going, "You got to be kidding me." And he said, "Nope, $25 a month. That's it." And I said, "How's that going to work?" And he started trying to explain it, how the voice over IP box was going to connect to my internet. And I'm going, "I don't think so," because I imagined having to sit in front of my computer connected with a headset. And he said, "Oh, no, no, no." He said, "It works just like your house phone." He said, "You gonna be home tomorrow?" And I said, "Sure." And he said, "Can I come see you about 9 o'clock in the morning?" I said, "That sounds good." So he showed up bringing that little phone box that he's already got my attention because it's such a huge savings from what I was already paying. Hint, hint, prescription drug program versus what they're spending on drugs, right? And they came knocking on the door, came on in, plugged it up. I made a couple of phone calls calling people. I'm going, "How do I sound?" They plugged it into my cordless phone and I was able to walk around the house talking on the internet. I thought that was the neatest thing in the world. But after I made that second phone call, I remember so clearly sitting in my office chair and spinning my chair around and looking at him and going, "Okay, tell me about the business." So I sold myself on it after I saw the value of what they were marketing, right? Because it just like, it made sense. If you're taking somebody that's paying $100 a month down to a $25 a month product with the voice phone, then everybody would want that, right? So you're going to have that same situation here with our RX program, where they may not be interested in the business, but once they go through and realize how much it makes sense, somebody's going to come back to you and go, "Okay, now how does this work? How can I make money doing this?" And it's just going to be a natural flow of you building a business. I'm going to be very surprised if over the course of the next few weeks, if we don't see a major explosion in agents coming into DAC, because this is going to catch fire and it's going to be a frenzy at some point with people recruiting. And I assure you, over time, if you have people that you're wanting to talk to about this opportunity and you're not mentioning it right now, at some point down the road, somebody that you wanted to talk to, you're going to go talk to them later, or you're going to see them in the DAC agents Facebook group and you're going to go, "Dang, they signed up with somebody else." So don't let that be you. Go have the conversation and ask them the question about pharmacy drugs. And again, if they're not paying out of pocket, say, "Who do you know that might be spending money, a lot of money on prescription drugs?" Because we can really help them save money. So that's my spiel tonight, what I wanted to share. Harlequin, you got anything else? Anybody volunteering time? How many calls they've made or text messages while we've been on here?
While they're thinking about it, the other group that I thought of that would be really good is psychiatrist or psychologist, because a lot of times the medications that they're prescribing for anxiety and depression and stuff like that are not always covered under health insurance. So a lot of
Good
their
point.
clients could really use this. And I know Katie talked about that today, that, you know, whenever she was talking, she said she had to decide if she was going to take her medication or if she was going to buy food sometimes because it was so expensive.
I've got some good comments here and questions that these are direct messages, so you're probably not seeing these, Harlequin. Let's see if Natalie is asking if we've been inactive for a long time, but we want to become active again and starting over, where the best first steps to get back up to speed. If you're not receiving my team emails, then you can go to subscribe, subscribe.ellenwin.link, and that gives you the opportunity to resubscribe to my emails that come out, and you'll automatically get that welcome to our DAC family email. Also on that same link is a phone number where you can text and add yourself to my text list, where I send out reminders. Or like today, we just decided this afternoon that we were going to do this call tonight. We posted it in the Facebook group, and then I sent it out by email, and I also sent out a text message right before we got started to let people know. So if you didn't see one or the other, you got a text message going, oh, what are they doing? Let me jump on and see what that's about. So that would be what I would do to get started, to get plugged back into the system. And then if you do that, then send me an email and say, hey, I was on your Zoom and asking for the specific first steps. I've got 3 different videos that I pulled up that I've recently done a 30-minute segment training. One of them is on funding. One of them is on the compensation plan, which I'm going to update that and get that out to everybody on this residual piece. And I forget what the other was, but I went through and pulled some basic stuff up for some people just like yourself that are wanting to get restarted, but needing the big picture overview to get up to speed quickly. And then Taka said, I texted a few, but they're on Medicare. They're less than $20. Good job. Good job reaching out to people. So far, 5 seniors texted back and 2 young singles back to me, but they were all paying less than $20. Keep sending, keep communicating. And if they're under that 20, remember to ask for referrals. Well, hey, who do you know that might be spending more than that on their prescriptions? Again, because people talk about their meds and what they're doing. So they're going to know somebody if they think about it, but you got to ask them that question to get them to come forth with that information, right? And then we have Amy was in Excel from 97 to 99. Awesome. And ACN as well. So I was in telecom there for a long time, 7.5 years I was with Lightyear. All right, now so you got the 50 and 50. Paula's recommended teachers. Teachers would be great sharing about the RX program, and they're great to add to your team. All right, you're getting the text. That's great. Okay. And that link to subscribe is subscribe, just the word subscribe, like subscription, but subscribe.ellenwin.link. Okay. All right. Well, if nobody has any other questions, we'll wrap up. We want to keep these concise and make good use of everybody's time. But I'm super excited, and I can't wait for the next time we get together, where some of you are saying, hey, I sent some messages out and I had 2 people sign up, or I had 3 people sign up. I have several, and just because it's a Friday evening and also trying to wrap up my week and get ready for this, I haven't followed up, but I have a few that I talked to by chat today that want to catch up at the beginning of the week to learn more. So those are coming. Take advantage of this time as we're going into the holiday, because you're going to be reconnecting with more people, and it's a great time to have that conversation. What are you doing for healthcare? Hey, are you guys spending more than $20? Are you personally spending more than $20 in prescription meds out of pocket each month. So get those conversations, just say it over and over and over again. Walk around your house talking out loud, put a stuffed animal in the chair and practice saying those words over and over so that when you have the opportunity to speak, you're prepared and ready to have that conversation without having to stumble over your words or having to really think about what you're saying. It'll just come naturally if you start saying it enough times. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything
think
in closing
Truce-
here, Harlequin?
I think I saw Truce raising his hand. Is he
Yeah,
wanting to talk?
how you guys doing?
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Alan. Hey, Harlequin. Great job you guys are doing. Oh my God, my head is still spinning from the information we got earlier today. You made a very good point, Ellen, earlier, with regards to someone who might be thinking the $2 to $5 with the plan might be little. I'm looking at it as if we just got a raise. That's how I'm looking at it. So when we're talking about, you know, the $8 to $28, right, with the health plan from $8 to $20 per client. So I'm looking at this right now. I'm like, who would sign up for the health plan and not add this prescription to it? So we really went from $10 to $25. Am I right?
Possibly. Now, depending on which plan they choose, we've got a great RX plan with our health share because we've got
Okay.
free generic drugs, and tier 1 is a $20 copay. Tier 2 brands are $40 copay.
Okay.
So maybe not so on the health share, but I think here's what's going to happen. And that's a really good point on getting a raise. And when you said that, Truce, I was thinking about working for an employer. Imagine this, you're working for an employer, and if you're on an hourly wage and somebody came in and gave you $2 an hour increase in pay,
Right.
that'd be
Yeah.
a big deal, right? So incrementally, you're just going up.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I know there are some folks. I do have a friend of mine. He just started this job, and the reason why he's not getting our plan right now because he was thinking, well, let me just get myself situated first. It's a bit too expensive. But a lot of people now, they need prescriptions. They may not be able to afford the health plan, but they need to have something so when they go to the pharmacy, anything will help, right?
Exactly.
I mean, most people may not be able to afford $100, $200 coverage, but $20, we're talking about less than 67 cents a day, right? And if it's a family, less than $1 a day, I think that this is totally a game changer. And I'm looking at some notes, my head's been spinning. I'm like, even those who cannot afford the healthcare, they could take this. And one more thing that I've started seeing on, because I've joined a lot of insurance groups, right? When you start talking about healthcare, because think about it, we're saying we're better than health insurance. So a lot of agents are not going to be too happy about that, right? We're coming into a group and talking about how we're better. But now I think even with this, we will be in a position to be able to even enroll other insurance agents because they may be offering insurance, but they might need to add this to what they're already doing. They have existing clients and future clients they could talk to and say, hey, listen, you might want to check out this prescription plan in addition to what we already have, because we don't have anything that could cover those drugs that you may be needing. Am I right?
And I'm going to talk to every Medicare agent that I know because
Yeah.
they've already got, they've got insurance plans out here and they've got their whatever RX plans that they're doing. But I know that there are older people that are on Medicare that can't afford their prescriptions. So I'm going to be talking to Medicare agents. And guess what? Think about this. If you're talking to Medicare agents, I know in my local community, there are a handful of Medicare agents that are very active in my Chamber of Commerce. And do you know where they get their enrollments and what they do every year? They have created relationships with the local senior communities where the property managers there welcome them in to come do enrollments in their community. So do you think that if I recruit some of those Medicare folks, on the prescription card, that they've already got a relationship. They're going to immediately go back to those senior communities where they already have a relationship and say, hey, I've got a great product that everybody
Yeah.
here can use. Don't have to worry about open enrollment. They can sign up anytime, and we can help them keep money in their pocket so that they can have more money to go on field trips and go on the shopping trips that y'all take them on.
I think the word of mouth is gonna be is gonna go like a wildfire. Once you
is.
put somebody on that plan and they go there, they realize I could get this for free just for $20 or $30. It's just how can you stop them from telling someone else unless you just don't care about other people?
Exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing what marketing tools that Tyler has been creating. He's been very busy on the website and getting everything working there. And I think our website just looks phenomenal. They did a beautiful job with that. We're going to have some really cool marketing tools coming out here in the very near future too. But for me, I personally use a little notepad on my phone, and I've got it separated. I've got all of my DAC links in a notepad. So when somebody asks me a question, I just open that notepad up and I copy it, I paste it into text, and I send it out. So they've got it right there. And I would recommend that you do that on your DAChealthcare.com/RX/your ID number. Have that ready to go. I personally like leading with the homepage so that they see everything that we have, and then they can click on it. But it depends on who you're talking to and all that. If I'm marketing my chamber, I want them to see the full scope of what we have, the comprehensive benefits plan, our program that we have. But we've got some really good stuff in front of us. I hope you guys really grasp it and run with it. And those pennies keep adding up, and the dimes and the nickels, and then the dollars, and the dollars add up. Guys, I have over 14,000 agents in my group. I'm pushing 15,000. Not many of them are active, honestly. Not many are active. But I keep hearing from people that are coming back and going, hey, what's this I saw? Or what's that?
Yeah.
Or like Natalie, hey, I haven't been real busy, but I'm wanting to get reactivated. So to me, even though all of these people are not active right now, at least they're locked into my team, right? Because they're already with DAC. And if somewhere down the road they decide to get busy with DAC, they're already in the company and they're already a part of my organization. So I don't have to worry about somebody outside of my organization recruiting them and them working somewhere else. They're already here. And I've just been loving on everybody with my emails and my text messages and everything, trying to keep everybody.
I love them. I just forward them. I just forward your emails. I love them so much because if it were not for your emails, I probably would have been. There's so much information. Even when I miss, like, if I miss a Zoom, you always like send the recording and you give us now the schedule of what's coming. So that is so helpful to be able to forward that to, I guess, whoever really wants to learn. Because tomorrow my plan is I'm just going to go in the back office and print down everyone in my organization. We have their phone numbers. They're obviously not responding to email. So I'm going to call them directly and say, hey, a lot has changed. You might want to look into this, even for yourself, or then you're already an agent, you're not going to pay to join. So, but I think a phone call is probably what's going to wake some people up.
It is. And that's great, Truce. And I know you've got quite a few people on your team. So a lot of you on here may not have a team at all, but you may have a handful of people on your team. And I encourage you to follow Truce's lead on that and reach out, pick up the phone, reach out and have a conversation with them. Harlequin's been busy reaching out to people in her team. I've been busy reaching out to people that I've personally sponsored, because if you start with your personally enrolled people and get that communication going and then teach them to reach down in their team, if they were here before, built a team and moved on to something else, then it's that trickle down effect, but it's the communication piece that is key. And also on the leadership piece of it, if you reach out to someone and they're really not interested, don't push them. Let them be. Just say, hey, no problem. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware of what's going on. I would hate to pass you by on this and then things really blow up and this be huge like we believe it's going to be, and you didn't know what was going on. So don't try to push them. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And that's very true with what we're doing here. All of you guys are a volunteer army, right? Y'all are volunteers out here. And I know that. And that's why I say I'm always loving on you guys, giving you support and letting you know I'm here to help you if I can. But I'm never calling anybody up and saying, hey, you're not putting any numbers on the board. What are you doing? You're wasting my time. I never do that because I know that y'all are here for yourselves and for the right reasons. And whenever that right timing comes along, you're going to take those steps forward in your own time. So hopefully we can just encourage you to take them sooner. All right. Anything else? We're going to wrap up here. Anybody?
Well, I just want to say thank you before we go. Thank you. And Harlequin, thank you for the 1550. That really lit a fire under my, you know what, but thank you so much for that, because a lot of us, we're doing this. And when a lot of times when we don't have a goal, we tend to say, hey, I'm going to get to it. But now every day is a day lost. So I'm rushing to make sure by December 31st, I better have some numbers on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. And they may not all be active. They won't be active, right? Because you're going to have conversations. You've got until Monday, if it's a group that's enrolling, for them to be active on December 1. Individuals, you've actually got until December the 15th to have them on the books this year, because an individual can sign up by December the 15th and have it backdated to December the 1st on HealthShare.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got a broad opportunity here with the RX plans. So I think a combination, we're going to add the RX plans into that mix of the HealthShare. So 50 and 50, no matter which type of plan it is they come in on, it's a victory. You won and you made an impact on somebody's life if they enroll in what we have to offer. So, one more story before we wrap up. I had shared this with my niece. She is on Kaiser. Kaiser is an HMO here in Georgia. I don't know what other states they're in, but they have their own network of hospitals and clinics and doctors, and you can only go to a Kaiser doctor if you're on their plan. Well, she got a quote from me and we came back with a good price for her. I told this story the other day. We added her daughter as well. So it's she and her 2 children instead of just she and her son as it was. And she called today. She was going to wait until January 1st to enroll. And she said, Ellen, Kaiser sent me an email with my new rates and they've gone up $200 more on my monthly plan. She said, I'm ready to kick them to the curb. So instead of waiting until January the 1st, I'm ready to get started December the 1st if I can. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, we can do that tomorrow. So she's already been through a presentation, and in the emails that come back out, they get a link that says self-enroll, right? So she and I are going to get on the phone tomorrow. She's going to go through the self-enrollment link and sign herself up because she's already been through the full presentation to know what she's signing up for. So good stuff.
Congrats,
just got to get the
Ellen.
word out.
Yeah. One thing I will request for everybody who's signing up for the DAC 50 and 50 Facebook page, please answer the questions, because we've had some shady characters, shall we say, trying to join that group. And if I don't personally know you, what I'm having to do is go and find out, okay, are you in the DAC agents Facebook group, or are you on my team, or, whatever. And that just really helps alleviate that time crunch for me. And, it's, if you can do that, and then also invite all of your team members to join as well.
Let me ask a question. I've got a question from Sean that says website for enrollment, please. Is that enrollment for my emails, or was that enrollment for signing up for the RX plan? Which one were you wanting us to go back through? If it's for emails, it's just the RX plan. So DAChealthcare.com, that's the main page, and then /RX, like RX you just typed in there, / your ID number or your unique username, either or. But DAChealthcare.com is the main page, and then you can click on the RX program and then just put your ID number at the end of that and you're on the right page. All right.
All right, I have a
Okay,
question.
we've got,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Did you have someone else?
no.
Okay, just one last question. When you're promoting the prescription now, are you just gonna send people directly to that one page, or are you gonna send them to the main page so they could also see the individual and employer group?
It's
And
gonna
with the
depend who I'm
Rx?
talking to. Yeah. If I'm talking to someone, like one of my friends that I reach out today, both of them have good healthcare. One's through a government plan, one, school system, the other is through an employer. So they both have a good healthcare plan. They're not interested in our health share right now. So I'm talking to them specifically about prescriptions. Then I'm going to send them directly to the prescription link. But if it's somebody that I think could use all, then I'm going to put the whole picture in front of them and I'm going to send them that homepage so they see all of this other stuff. Even though the conversation may just be about RX to begin with, when they go in there and see the others, they may go, oh, wait a minute, I'm looking for healthcare too. So just depends on the conversation.
Yeah, I was asking because I do plan on, doing like postcard flyers and stuff using Canva and ordering, because there's so many good pictures I see we have on a website where you could just crop that and just load it up into Canva and just put the QR code and number on there, and then just start printing those on our own, even before marketing is available.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And have something as a leave behind for sure.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you all. Appreciate you all for being here tonight. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
We
We'll see you
appreciate you guys doing all of this.
Thank you.
You
Good
bet.
night all.
Thank you.